Anyway, these are the correct picks and bans.
All right,
I
I'll run
believe.
through them real quick. Beanie bans library. KumaKid bans aquarium. Sorry, Kletos. Beanie restricts modern. KumaKid restricts balcony. And this is interesting because both of these players have picked ballroom several times this year. And so Beanie is going to double ballroom, and KumaKid's probably thinking, okay, if you're going to do it for me. So they're going to double pub 3-6, which is very strange because I know this is a little bit of a pat observation, but we like to say that that's the kind of thing you pick if you think you're an underdog. And at least on paper, KumaKid is absolutely not an underdog. Beanie has done pretty well in silver, at least. But KumaKid has a chance to lock up second, silver in silver, if you will. Falling to only Turnip Boy would certainly be a very understandable thing. And it's been a tremendous season for KumaKid. But here they are picking doubling, no less. Pub 3-6. Very unusual. Beanie is going to follow suit. High Rise 3-5, and then KumaKid is going to pick Courtyard. So nobody buys into the restrict picks or anything like that. I think they're both happy to see Ballroom, and I'm happy to see the games.
And I'm happy to see Courtyard, of course.
Of course. I mean, it goes without saying.
Yeah.
That's the center space on the Kletos bingo card is happy that Courtyard showed up. That's the free space every week.
Yeah, fortunately or unfortunately, that is the case anyhow. First game is here. Let me just double check. We got Beanie as the first spy here, as the planar twin.
Correct. I guess you're right. Neither of them are really plain. Plain is relative to the bling.
Yes.
Yeah. Beanie is going to be the spy. Plain twin. Ballroom. Are you ready to go, sir?
I am totally ready.
All right. Counting it in. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. Beanie, as I mentioned, plain twin on Ballroom is the one who doubled it. It's going to end up in a perfectly innocent conversation here with Ponytail, and we're going to see where our seduction target, that's White Dress, is going to settle. She's walking right by the ambassador, as a matter of fact, and I got to imagine after this talk we're probably going to follow suit because the spy's camera is lining it up. But look at that, 2 arrows in one conversation. Can we resist? The ponytailed lady leaves, and we are now obligated to wait for a full idle, unfortunately, and sip from this narrow glass. Our seduction target taking a drink, which means she might leave right after this, and that's exactly what she does, but Beanie turns it into a briefcase redirect instead. Quick thinking, very good there. We're not going to get that first flirt off. Instead, we're going to go into side statues. That little bit of low-light fishing doesn't seem to have yielded anything, but it's really quick thinking from Beanie there to try to turn a very bad situation into a potentially good one. We're going to red test on this first inspect, but it doesn't matter because we can't finish anyway. Second one's green, green and red, Christmas, sure, fine. 2 done. No seduce done, though. 2.5 minutes left. Seduction target has settled across from Kane at the far end of the ballroom. The ambassador is in conversation right next to us, and we're going to take a bit of a bug path, but we're going to move away from them just a little bit, and we're going to trust that KumaKid does not suspect us for a bug we did not attempt. We're going to wait a few seconds and get the flirt in. It's a green test, and that can help us make up for lost time, 51% there. We're offered a drink. Gotta wonder if we're going to try to bug on the way out. We're going to take an innocent drink in the meantime. Both these players find a bug. Yep, there it is. Wrong arm bug. Does not take, though, from Beanie after the drink take. And there's a highlight from KumaKid, and they are in big trouble. And walking bugs are going to be the name of the game in this set. KumaKid has 22 bugs this season. 21 of them are walking bugs. Beanie, it's 27 for 27. Has not completed a standing bug yet. Walking bugs are more popular in general, but these 2 players take that to the extreme. The seduction target's going to walk right behind us and settle into this conversation near. There's an opening between her and General, if we can take it. Wheels just took the other spot. In we go. She hasn't left yet, thank goodness. But we are in big trouble because we are a highlight for a probably very strongly suspected bug, and even a BB is probably going to get us killed. That's a 2 flirt, though. If we actually weren't suspected for this bug, we would have made up for the lack of early flirts. But instead, we're probably the top suspect here. And we've only completed 1.5 missions here. We can still finish inspect with any visit except to the same statue we already went to. Seduction target leaves. We don't care about that anymore. Gotta imagine, though, we're probably just going to get shot the second the real contact comes off. Can't come off now anyway, though, because the double agent has just left the green bookshelf and gone to look at a painting of buns, as a matter of fact. If their eyes are drifting downwards, it might be Kane. Can't tell from here. Beanie's just waiting around trying to figure out what to do. I think they might feel that highlight, and they're a little worried here, potentially. They might realize that they're a big suspect. I think they just want this double agent to get in. That will be the crucible. I think they want to just contact, see if they survive, and if they do, proceed as if it's okay. That's a slight animation break on the sip, and I only mention it because KumaKid might be watching very closely because of that suspected bug. That's a fake banana bread, but it could be real from the sniper side because the suspected double agent Cowboy is in with us. I'm not sure if we're trying to frame someone or not. No shot has come off yet, so KumaKid might still have a very good mission counter. Maybe just vaguely suspects the bug. Might just be bug path. We still don't have the bug, though. But we're going to walk by again. It's another walking bug attempt. And this time it is absolutely 100% seen. KumaKid takes the shot.
Going for those nice shoes, too.
Yeah, right in the shoes. Right in the saddle shoes. Let me take a look at this bug. Yeah, that's pretty rough. But I think at this point you might have to do something like that anyway. Time is ticking down. You're already a huge suspect. And it really did seem like Beanie could tell. Either way, just great command of the party from KumaKid. And that 2 flirt goes to waste. What a damn shame. KumaKid now going to be spying on Ballroom as Ponytail, the woman we were talking to uselessly in the beginning of the previous game, in 3, 2, 1, planet. We take control immediately. Do we want to crash bug? There's a lot of activity around the Ambassador, but the moment has passed. Ambassador ends up at the green bookshelf, and we end up in the same pointless conversation as our opponent did in the previous game, except this time there's no one there, so we're just going to idle, sip, and then probably see how our seduction target lands. This is what often happens when the seduction target goes to somewhere like windows or books where you can't easily follow and still get a flirt off in time. You just kind of have to hang around and hope that they settle somewhere convenient. In this case, we crossed paths, and the seduction target goes to the conversation we just left, as a matter of fact. Amazing. We're going to follow them there. We're going to nestle in between Buns and our seduction target, who is Seek, the very tall gentleman with the red turban. We're going to wait the requisite 3 to 4 seconds before talking. It's going to be a white flirt, 34%. Not too bad. Spy's looking around the party, eyeing up the Ambassador, not in a particularly buggable position unless we time it just right. We might just want to timer flirt here instead and check out the party. Our seduction target's offered a drink. It's the kind of thing you might want to monitor, just in case. We're going to leave a little bit, though. We're not content to sit here and timer flirt after the first 5 or 6 seconds, and it's a good thing, too, because the seduction target left after taking that drink. We've gone to windows. The cooldown has expired already. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. We have a third of a flirt done and nothing else, but there are 2 highlights already on the sniper side. I don't think it's for anything particular. That's a green timeout at windows, by the way, so now we have close to 3 minutes instead, and we are going to miss the pad trying to snuggle up next to our seduction target on the opposite side of Salmon, and we're going to think better of it and just walk away to bookshelves and hope that doesn't get noticed. It might look AI-like, just like the briefcase redirect in the previous game, but again, I'm not sure we've gotten any credit for it. Jeez. So the green time ad is probably going to go to waste now because we kind of bounced unofficially off that conversation. We're going to waste some time at books. We're going to be right back where we were after the time ad now. We're coming back down on 220. And we are low lit! It does work! It pays off! We idle because the seduction target doesn't cooperate and because we missed the pad, and it pays off with a low light for wasting time at blue books. And I don't see any other low lights, so I don't think it's that they missed the time ad and caught it late because there are no other low lights for it. Wow. That's what happens sometimes. You think your game's going poorly, and that's actually the thing that's going to win it for you. And KumaKid might suspect it because we have a green purloin right after that. They might have felt the low light, or they might just be going for it anyway. Either way, that's going to be very hard for Beanie to catch. KumaKid's going to get the heck out of there. The list has not been taken yet. We're bouncing around. I think we might contact here to distract because we've joined a conversation with a double agent, and the seduction target has joined next to us. Things could not be going better all of a sudden. It's a green BB. Things keep getting better. We can flirt right after this and be 2/3 of the way done. The list has still not been taken. There's the flirt. Another white test, 68%. One more flirt away, and I don't think we are a suspect at all. We're off the sniper's radar. Cowboy's going to take the list, and as far as the sniper's going to be concerned, unless they get a great view of that fade, they're going to think it has to be Cowboy. Some low lights are coming out more. We're going to narrow this down. Cowboy's one of them. They got a good look at the fade. They're convinced it's green, but they don't know who could have taken it, so it's going to be just the remaining highlights. It's going to be Seek, our seduction target, who I think, no, does not even have a drink. I don't think we're suspected for this at all. We're going to go to green books. I'm not sure why. Is there a print here? Do we feel the low light and realize that prints are devastating from low lights? That's exactly what this is. We're going to fingerprint the book, and I think KumaKid's thinking, you know what? This is how I want to finish. I don't want to give them a shot to take a shot at statues. Look at this. Fingerprint done, purloin done. We're not in the radar at all. Any close flirt's going to get it done. Seduction target is at statue, so we're going to have to do something else in the meantime. The Ambassador has put their mitts on that far left statue, and they've just left, and there's a briefcase too. We could do either one of them. And it doesn't matter. Seek's going to get shot. We were going to win that game one way or the other. Wow. Really good start from KumaKid. Strong sniping, and then the uncooperative seduction target helps us get low lit inadvertently, perhaps. 2-0 KumaKid showing.
Well, I mean, the seduction target in the end was very cooperative.
In a way, yeah, not in the way we planned, but in a way that worked just fine. KumaKid showing why Turnip Boy is the only person to best them so far in the standings, at least in silver. Beanie, though, not out of it yet. Did double Ballroom, so we'll see. Here we go. Playing as Buns in 3, 2, 1, planet. Beanie's going to start off at green bookshelves, and I don't think, oh boy, that grab, that extra quick grab means that we are not putting that back nicely later. The whole point is to be on the other side of the venue, and now we are over here on the other side of the venue. The idea is to look like that must be blue, because at some point, KumaKid's going to see that book and think, how did you get a book already? They're going to have to credit it to blue for this to work. If they don't notice for a few more seconds, it could. It could. But this is quite a gambit from Beanie. We're not going to go flirt with our seduction target because our seduction target is near the green bookshelf, and the whole point is to be hanging around here for a little while with that book and hope that it's mentally attributed to the blue bookshelf by KumaKid. I like it. It's gutsy. The laser is kind of resting on us, but it might have been incidental. We still don't have any flirts left. And that's kind of the thing you would want to get done while you're holding this book and letting it kind of rest there. You want to get the flirts done, but you don't want to be on that side of the venue. We've decided we've been on this side long enough, though, to sell the lie, and that, I think, is what Beanie has decided as well. We're next to our seduction target now. We're not going to waste any time with flirting. It's going to be 50%. We're just close enough to still have a 2 flirt in. My guess is Beanie wanted to stay on the other side of the venue for a while, but the seduction target did not allow it. Again, the seduction target not doing what we want them to, but maybe once again it'll work out anyway. Do we want a timer flirt? Doesn't matter. Seduction target leaves just as I say that. Beanie's talking, interrupting someone, just to try to look natural. And now we can go to the other side of the venue if we want. Seduction target goes to an occupied statue and then keeps moving. And now they are at the far end where we were waiting for them before, and there's a spot next to them, right next to the highlit twin, so we can go try to finish that in 2 right now, and that would open the game up quite a bit. The double agent, though, has joined our conversation, so this might change things a little bit, but with General at center statues, I don't think we want to take the contact just yet. Let's see what Beanie wants to do. They're really taking their time with this. I think they're just betting the whole game on this book. They're thinking, I'm going to have a lot of time to contact, inspect late, whatever. We are going to contact as a green test. We're going to knock out at least Salmon in general if KumaKid is on it. And the shot comes off immediately on Twin. The shot comes off immediately on Twin. Wow. That, I did not think that was going to work. I don't think Beanie was planning it either.
Going for the legs again this time, too. Beanie just likes...
Let me take a look at this.
KumaKid just like shooting twins in the legs, apparently. Maybe that's
now, Twin gets a highlight early in this game, and it just looks like it's for kind of a wonky path. That's all it is. We get I guess it could be a Twin highlight, but then they go to center statues, walk by the ambassador a little bit. That's all it is. That's all it is. Shot Twin last time for bugging, shoots this one for a phantom bug, perhaps. Whatever it is, Beanie had a really interesting game plan that game, and I'm kind of upset that we're not going to see how it would have worked out. Either way, that's going to keep Beanie in this already. Not going to fall behind 3-0. Going to be 2-1 instead. But KumaKid spying now had such success last time. Let's see what happens this time. Playing as Orange Sorry on Ballroom in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And we are going to do a walking bug right at the beginning of the game. Toby is partially blocking it, and the pillar is partially blocking it. KumaKid, so aggressive. You could
really see KumaKid really wanted that bug.
Really wanted that bug, and it's a walking bug. As I mentioned, only one standing bug all season for KumaKid. This isn't going to be one of them. Boy, the aggression. We've either got our foot on the gas or we're throwing gas on the fire, depending on which petroleum-themed metaphor you prefer. No flirts are in yet, and I gotta imagine that's gonna come next, because the whole point of that kind of bug is that you act like you got away with it, and you play a boring Softail variant after that, if you can. But, well, here's the problem. KumaKid completes inspect statues 8% of the time. An incredibly low rate. Every other mission, including swap, at least twice as often. That's one of the lowest inspect rates in SCL. I haven't checked to see if it's the lowest, but it's got to be close. KumaKid is way more likely to do a second mission of some other kind, like this. Fingerprint, perhaps, coming off the briefcase. Normally, I would say with bug, it's going to be purloin for most people, but 2 hardtails is a little risky. So we're going to go Softail fingerprint instead of Softail inspect, rather, in all likelihood. KumaKid behaving as if they got away with the bug, and as far as we know, they probably did. We're right back next to our seduction target here again. We still don't have a flirt. We're going to contact first. It's going to be a white test. And we're going to have to flirt right afterwards because there's 2 minutes left. And if we're going to win this game, we're going to need to get that flirt done. It would be a shame to get away with the bug and the fingerprint and not get the flirt done. We still haven't flirted. We still haven't flirted. Our seduction target took a sip and thank goodness did not leave afterwards. We are really not flirting at all. There it is. It's a white test, and that's going to hurt a little bit, though, because we waited until there were 1 minute and 50 seconds left on the clock to actually do it. It's going to be a 3 flirt at best. And you got to imagine the only thing we could do, we can't go to statues in the meantime like you normally would to break up these flirts. You have to go get a fingerprint instead. The briefcase is still sitting there.
There is a fingerprint on that statue.
There is a fingerprint on the statue, but it seems like we're committed not to go to statue, and the ambassador, unfortunately, left with their book, so we're going to have to wait for them to dump it. We could go stand next to them for a little while, but that's awfully risky to try to make them put that book back.
It is a side statue. So
that helps a little bit. We're going to be counting on Beanie, though, to know that statue highlights do not mean inspects complete. Some people can mix those two up, especially when they're just highlighting for all statue visitors. KumaKid has to trust the sniper a little bit here. Wants Beanie to be on it this time, in this way, at least, to not get shot. Fingerprint is done. We do not even bother to pick up one of the inspects as an emergency backup plan. And the seduction target leaves as we approach them, but doesn't go very far, and there's still space next to them between Ponytail and the seduction target right there, and I gotta imagine that's where we're gonna go. We're gonna need to two-flirt, though, and the seduction target leaves just as we head out, but we're a slow character, and now that's actually good. We can see where they're gonna end up. They're gonna end up at windows, it looks like. They're still going. They're walking along the edge of the ballroom. We're chasing them. We're gonna have to squeeze in, and this might not even take. We're gonna walk in front of Green Dress into the conversation. The seduction's canceled! Seduction canceled! No, it's a red test! It's a red test! They were so intent on trying to get the flirt done quickly that they spammed it and red tested instead. The seduction target is now at statues. We're going to have to flirt with them statues to have any chance because there's 30 seconds left and we need 2 flirts and we're into the beep beeps, which means we can't even afford to time it. It'll be throwing the game away. If we had one of those inspects now, we'd have more options, wouldn't we? We could finish with inspects right now, but we can't. Seduction target puts the statue down. We're waiting to see where they end up, and suddenly having a slow character is absolutely terrible. There's no way to finish this. There's no way. We're going to have to time ad. We can't flirt with them. It's not possible. It's not possible. We're Windows. We're going to have to flirt and time ad. We're going to do a 0-second time ad. There's a green seduce we wanted before, 85%. Into a time ad. Does not take in time. Spy ran out of time. That went absolutely wrong in every way possible with the seduction target.
Yeah,
they left us 3 times. And we red flirted, and now if we'd taken even 1 inspect along with that fingerprint, think what might have been.
I mean, or just swap.
That too. But you have the soft tell option at least. There's no downside. It's like taking the delegate when you take the drink off the bar. You might not have any intention of using it, but you never know because it doesn't happen much, but it does happen. And KumaKid, wow. Tied now, 2-2 on Ballroom. Beanie's double pick doesn't pay off for them, but it doesn't bury them either, at least. We're all split, heading into pub. Beanie on the spy now, playing Salmon, my goodness. Whew. Okay, let me catch my breath. Here we go.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it. That was absolutely wild, and it was bad luck, but I gotta say, around 20 seconds, I think we could have made some better decisions at least. It was obvious we weren't gonna be able to finish flirt there and betting it all on the time ad. I think you gotta time ad first, at least, before the flirt, because you see what happens. Beanie takes control, flirts with General here. That's 51%. Now, you might notice the inspect is turned off. That's not a spy choice. That's something you have to do on pub this season. It is pub 3-6 with inspect turned off mandatory. So it means you're going to have to do something else. You can't just finish with soft tells except for fingerprint. And it's pretty hard for AIs to complete fingerprint on pub. So that's usually going to get you shot. But could bug, could purloin, could do a lot of things. Beanie, though, for now, just content on learning from their opponent's previous game and prioritizing this flirt. We're not going to leave until the general does. I think we're going to try to two-flirt it again. Beanie did earlier, you'll remember, in that Ballroom game, but it didn't do anything for them. And we're waiting. Nothing's happening. White dress has been low lit. There it is. The flirt timer cools down. We hit another green test. Beanie absolutely nailing these green tests. And it's not surprising, actually, because Beanie has a 58% green test rate in SCL. They are one of the absolute highest players in the that's not outside of the Master Circuit in AT rate. Very, very high. KumaKid is as well, 51%. In fact, the 2 of them are 2 of the 3 highest non-Master Circuit players in AT rate. But Beanie, 58% in silver is absolutely ridiculous, and you can see it paying off on these flirts. We take a drink. We take the delegate just in case. We're going to be obligated to take this briefcase, I think. Maybe we're just outside of range. It's pretty close. Beanie decides I'm not obligated, and they're going to go kill time, take the fingerprint off this drink. It's a difficult attempt, but it does not hit. And look at that. Kane confirms we were obligated. I wonder if KumaKid's going to notice that one of those characters walked by the case and the other did not. One of them is wrong, but who is it? I'm not sure KumaKid's noticed, and the fingerprint didn't take, so Beanie's got to have another plan now. Probably going to get the contact done early. We probably have taken too long in order to have this delegate come off, but if we try now and get a little lucky, maybe just barely. I don't think so, though. We're taking our time here before doing anything. We're going to sip the drink. We are with the real double agent, though, and we haven't taken the contact yet. I think we want one more person in here, and it might be Kane, who did already pick up that briefcase and already has a print. We might have decided after joining, hey, I don't want to knock out this person here. This AI might actually complete fingerprints, contra what I just said a couple of minutes ago. And as soon as Kane gets in, that's what happens. It's a fake, though, as the double agent bails, but we did keep Kane in the suspect pool. However, only 3 characters could have a real contact. That's going to be Queen, one of the twins, and General. And KumaKid notices exactly this. Low lights the seduction target for idling, though. Highlights Twin. Queen was already highlit, probably for that reel. So they're focusing very much on that. And a bug has come off in the meantime while KumaKid is handing out the highlights. And there's no indication they're suspected for it at all. We have 45 seconds now to get a real contact, and I think we're going to win if we do. Ponytail, though, is at the far end of the venue with Kane, so that could not have gone any better. Beanie has to make a beeline for that, I think, right now. They're pathing their way out of the pub. They're right behind Queen, one of those aforementioned highlights. This conversation is filling up kind of quickly. We get a highlight, though, for chasing, I think. We cram our way in there, and we are being watched. A contact.
bread.
Will we actually survive this, or is the bug a little suspected? No reaction from the laser yet. 6 seconds left. It's going to swing over now, or Beanie's going to win this game.
Banana bread.
And it's a BM fake banana bread at the
bread.
end. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. Beanie, with a little bit of mind games at the end, clean bug during sniper housekeeping and wins. Wow. Really thought from that laser movement at the end, the way it swung over to notice, to absolutely notice that we had entered that conversation after the highlight. Really seemed like we might be lining it up. But look at this. Fake green, fake green, fake green, showing off the AT rate I mentioned there, Beanie is. 3 missions on pub, 3 wins in the match, 3-2 after being down 2-0. What a swing. Wow.
Hey everybody, hey Trek.
That's all right. We're happy to have you. There should be a record for it. There really should, yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably, well, you know what? I'm going to take that as a challenge. I'm going to take that as a challenge, certainly. Yeah, welcome, Corvus. We are 3-2 Beanie. We're in the second pub game. I assume you're all lined up already?
All lined up. KumaKid as Spy as Seek.
Yep. And I think let's double check that audio, Kletos. I think we're hearing in chat that Corvus is not coming through. Might want to bump them up just a little bit. Bear with us, everyone.
Testing, testing audio 1 2 3. Testing audio 1 2 3. Testing audio 1 2 3.
All right. Sounds like it's good. Well, I don't know. I always trust them because, you know, they control us, is basically the way it is. KumaKid, Seek, Pub, are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Thanks for the breather, Corvus. Although I'm probably not going to slow down too much. I'm just so darn excited. These have been some really, really remarkable games if you've been watching already so far. I've been really impressed with both players, and particularly with Beanie flexing that AT right there at the end with the BM fake banana breads.
Yeah, and it looks like KumaKid now is going to step into bars. Quite a rush here. And the delegate here on Pub, definitely a strong way to try to at least pick up an option here. Pub has lots of paths to victory. Bug is obviously one of them, but the delegate just gives you a lot of flexibility. No reason not to take it, although we're going to burn a lot of time here, it looks like.
Yeah, quite a bit, and we're not going to take a drink either. There was a bar rush, as you mentioned, and that's significant because Beanie is highlighting for bar. KumaKid does a little stutter stop in a full conversation, but decides to enter after the SDA, I believe it was, left. And that's nice because, well, that's the spot next to our seduction target, who is Smallman. The ambassador has joined. Beanie, by the way, has been staring down that ambassador. That is a cancel seduction right there. Smallman leaves just as we start to talk. We were a little too polite after ending that conversation. Waited a good 10 to 12 seconds, I think, contra the standard spy 5 to 7 that Screw and Loose and I like to joke about sometimes. And in this case, it ends up being the difference. Seduction does not take, and we're stuck at 27%.
Yeah, 20%, 7% is rough. I mean, if we'd been able to get that flirt off, then that far flirt bar wouldn't have been such a big deal. We'd still be on track for what would essentially have been a 3 flirts, if you count those 2 flirts together. But now we're kind of stuck here. 2 minutes 10 left to play. We're going to need at least 1 more green, and stepping into this window does give us a chance. But no, it's to be a time ad, and now we're going to go for the flirt, trying to get back on track in this game. KumaKid really needing a little more time.
Yeah, we did time ad, and it is a white time ad, though. The only other person, though, at Windows was Smallman, and that might have been the idea. We figure we have a bit of a safety net, and we can flirt across from them. Eye contact makes sense. Makes it all the better. And it is a green test indeed. KumaKid saying, I can hit him too. You might be 58%, but I'm still 51, and that is still very, very high. KumaKid, I think, 11th in SCL so far this season in AT rate. And that's right, about a dozen people have cracked 50% this season. Higher than usual, but still not that common. In this case, it is going to help, though. With that missed flirt earlier, we're up to 57%, 1 more green. If it's moderately close, we'll get it done. The bigger question is, when this timeout is noticed, who's suspected, if anyone, and is it Smallman instead of us, since he's already so inherently suspicious? So, suction target Smallman has been left alone by the ambassador. The question is, are we going to follow, or are we just going to see where they end up?
Yeah, we've been keeping a close eye on these conversations here. KumaKid in a place to observe the entire venue, and part of what we're going to try to figure out here is when we can take a contact. Even a fake contact here on Pub can be extremely strong. People getting real gets them a good chance to get shot and sets them up for a delegate frame later on in the game. But not getting quite the conversation like we want here. Smallman does join. We could go over the fake here, but actually the DA and the SDA both really harmless right now. This would be a really weird fake for us to take, and it looks like we're not going to. We're just going to sit in this conversation for quite some time, not even chasing Smallman, our seduction target here. And a lot of time is burned off the clock here track. We're going to have to make a move at some point.
Yeah, and there's the move as the spot opens up next to our seduction target. We're going to join pretty much immediately. I don't think we're going to wait too long this time. Nope, we're not. Just 3 or 4 seconds this time. We learned our lesson. It is a white test, though. It's only going to get us up to 91%, and you're right. A good fake on pub can put a lot of suspicion onto the only people who have a real if you get 4 or 5 of those. But if the sniper feels they have good command, they can be pretty confident of who has fingerprint, and if you're guarding bug the way Beanie is, you might just hold your shot anyway if nobody completes, and that is often the case on pub without inspect turned on. I guess we're going to timer flirt here to actually finish this, but I just don't see any way we can get to mission win countdown without rushing missions very, very quickly. We're only going to have a few seconds left. The double agent has joined our conversation. We are going to get the contact up there. There's the green, and wow, it's a really, really good contact. 2 lowlights, and everyone else could have a real because the SDA was in the adjacent conversation. But if a shot hasn't come off yet, I don't think it's going to yet. Beanie doesn't have any options. You might have to go time ad right now. Smallman is getting the heck out of there. It's going to go to the other conversation, though. No, going to walk around and redirect around the briefcase. Wheels is going to take the briefcase instead, but I don't think either of them is going to complete fingerprint. We're just going to have to go, and I think we're going to have to direct Purloin to try to get a shot off. We should be able to do it before 10 seconds, though, which might prompt a shot because we don't need OT.
I think, unfortunately, Purloin here is going to be a shot onto us. I don't think anyone was really possible for the delegate there. List seen missing, and Beanie now looking for the shot.
There it is. Yep. There it is. Shot 7 seconds after the list take. That's real straightforward. I actually want to applaud KumaKid just a little bit here. Obviously, some rough stuff in that game. However, the decision to direct Purloin at the end, clearly the right decision. Clearly the only gambit that might work, but it didn't. And Beanie now has won 4 in a row. We've got 2 more pub games here, it looks like. Geez. Queen, Beanie. We don't see doubled pub very often. We just don't, and we cast it even less often. Beanie is queen on pub in 3, 2, 1, playing it 4 in a row for Beanie. KumaKid not used to losing even a few in a row against anyone. As I mentioned, one of the best players in silver, and would probably be running away with it if not for the gauntlet that is Turnip Boy, who we will see in the next match, going for that perfect season. Beanie's going to rest at windows and see where the section target lands. They're going to land in this conversation here, and then they're going to leave just as we approach. We weren't going to be able to get right next to them anyway. We could maybe bug through Teal here, though, actually, but KumaKid is definitely watching it. We're actually in front of Teal rather than behind, so we actually will not be obscured very well. That's going to be a reverse drive-by bug attempt. It is going to take. The question is, was KumaKid looking there or not? The camera was so still, and that makes it much, much more likely that it was in fact seen, but there's no reason to do anything just yet. There's the flirt as the seduction target rejoins across from us. It's only going to be a white test, though, too, and even in the small conversation, that's going to get us to just 21%.
Yeah, that bug is a nice idea there, and on pub, sometimes you have to take these risks to force a win through as the spy. Pub, especially now with inspects turned off, you have so few options for getting something by clean, and you're right, bugging through Teal there, not necessarily an option. The reverse drive-by very much on camera, but if we manage to get it through, it's a really good risk, and if we don't, well, spy wins on pub are few and far between. But definitely a good job by KumaKid here. Even if that bug is seen, there's just no reason to shoot yet. No banana bread has come off. We can just tunnel onto this character and make sure that we fire at the right time for the right reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Contact being the minimum. I think at that point, that's the first point at which you have to pretty much force yourself to shoot. Or a single fingerprint, wondering if you missed just one. Those are the moments I'd be looking for to survive if I were Beanie, to try to test whether or not I got away with it. We get another seduce, across from our seduction target again, and again it's white, and that means just 43%, which means we're going to need a moderately close... No, we're going to need a 4 flirt at minimum on pub, which is very unfortunate. We have under 2 minutes left, and we're shot the minute we approach the bar. Just like that. That is 95% on that bug for KumaKid, just waiting for any excuse to shoot afterwards.
Yeah, I like what we were seeing from KumaKid there, actually. Even though we had that suspicion in our bug in our mind, and even though clearly it was a very high suspicion considering when we go for the shot, KumaKid keeps playing the game. The ambassador goes to the far left conversation, the laser follows, guarding bug. We don't just give up the entire game. We say, okay, I'm pretty sure this is the character. If they do anything to confirm, I'm going to take the shot, but in the meantime, I'm going to keep playing SpyParty just in case I was wrong.
Yep, that's what it is right there. That is what you see from the best snipers. You see humility. I think I'm right, but I could be wrong. Let's keep an eye on this person and shoot when I have to and not a moment before. That kind of discipline it won't save you many games, because when you're that suspicious, you're usually right. But every now and then it does, and that adds up over time. KumaKid really needed that win too, and now they are 1 spy win away, albeit on pub 3-6, from tying this right back up after dropping 4 in a row. It's going to be KumaKid as Teal on pub in 3, 2, 1, playing it. KumaKid rushed a bug earlier, takes control right away here. The ambassador's just too far away, so I don't think we're going to get an opportunity to. Beanie rotating carefully, and the ambassador is out of harm's way pretty quickly. Could have been a lot worse. Pub is often a lot worse. There is a bar rush, by the way. It looks like 5 people already. Let's see if KumaKid wants to get in on this. Instead, they're looking out the window, and they're walking down the length of the pub. And it looks like they're just going to do the safe thing here and join with their seduction target, who is General. Seek forces us to kind of bounce off the conversation a little bit. And no, we're going to enter between the seduction target and the ambassador, maybe try to get 2 missions done. We're going to flirt immediately. It's going to be a green test, 51%. Do we really want to bug, though? Ambassador's personal space has been violated. We didn't do it within 10 seconds, so it doesn't happen. And we leave after being interrupted by Seek. I don't know if we're fishing for a low light or not, but we're standing across from the Ambassador instead, being very unspy-like, maybe thinking back to that Ballroom game, thinking Beanie is an observant enough sniper that I might be rewarded for these little AI moves.
Yeah, I really like that conversation move from KumaKid there. We get interrupted, and there's no reason for us to stay in that conversation with our seduction target. Pub is not the worst place to try to get your flirt off. You don't need to stand there and try to get the timer flirt. You can go away, try to get that low light. And I really like the decision from KumaKid not to go to that bar as well. That bar rush would have been a huge investment of time. And to be honest, even with that much of a bar rush against snipers as talented as these, getting away with a purloin better than a coin flip is unlikely here on Pub, where there's just so much visibility for the sniper and so difficult to lose track of who's a bar, especially when you're taking those highlights that you don't need to highlight for statues.
Excellent point. And yeah, I think with the long bar rushes, you want to get in early or maybe demand around the same time several people arrive so it doesn't look too bad. That's kind of the best way to take advantage rather of a bar rush. But you're right, otherwise you'd have to wait there for a very, very, very long time. We are not going to try to finish this flirt, by the way. Our seduction target, the General, is at the far end, and we are going to head towards the statue, and the Ambassador gets there, and we immediately redirect and get the low light. It works again. KumaKid completely committed to the low light. What's really interesting about this is that usually when you burn them once that way, you figure they're not going to be handing those out anymore, and you wouldn't try to fish for them, but KumaKid rightly surmises that there's still more to be had.
Yeah, but look at this. General has left this conversation, and we now need to chase. We're down to 1:25, and we still only have one flirt. If we hit the second green, then Flirt's going to be looking a lot better. But that decision not to try to finish Flirt earlier in the game when our General was there is going to make this a lot dicier. We stand pretty far away in the bar. I don't think even a green's going to do it here. And so we pick up a Delegate. This is all well and good, and we're low lit, but low lit is not a mission win. And so we're still going to have to complete missions here if we want to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Or at least something's got to come off. We are not... Are we going to delegate? Did we move? I think we're still fishing for lowlights, it looks like. I think we readjusted at bar a little bit. Yes, we did. What is the idea? To get the print. It's to get the print. I think KumaKid's trying to do the exact same thing they did on Ballroom. They're thinking, I think I might be low lit. I'm going to behave as if I am and try to get prints done. But that's a little different. It's a little different here at the end of a pub game as it is in the middle of a Ballroom game. We're going to pick up the delegate, and I think there should be a print here. Here it is. Yes. But that's our first, not our second. There's only 30 seconds left. We might be able to get away with the time ad, though. And we've been bumped back up to a highlight because of the bar highlights. This is where the strategy breaks down just a little bit. That is the shortest window stay I think I've ever seen. We're going to immediately go to get the briefcase. That's going to be our second print. But are we suspected for the first, or are we just highlight for the bar? We might only be down for one print. We can still contact and seduce, but we've got to do both. We only got 15 seconds. We don't have a particularly fast character. There's barely room in here. We're going to have to bug and then enter the conversation and seduce. It's the only way. Are we actually going to go try to contact instead? No, we're going to squeeze in here. This flirt should do it. It does do it. Seduce. Mission win pending because we delegate, because we did not actually bug. We decided to delegate instead. Mission wins pending. Here it comes. The clock is hanging. I can't believe we got to countdown.
Not a countdown yet. We still need this delegate to take, and Beanie is looking around trying to figure out why the clock is hanging. There's not that many reasons the clock to be hanging here on Pub. Swap, very unlikely. It's almost certainly going to be a delegate. And no, the delegate timer expires, so we just ran out of time. We never actually even reached countdown despite hanging over time. Timer just expiring a little bit too early.
I really thought that was going to be a bug into a flirt. Instead, they committed to the plan, which was to delegate afterwards, but we're delegating from the farthest possible spot from the bar, and that's what loses them the game. It's a timeout after a low light, and now you better believe Beanie's going to think just a little bit more. Can't believe it happened twice, but think a little bit more about handing out those low lights for AI behavior, because KumaKid has shown they can do it. That is a really strong hold from Beanie. Dodged bullet. Now up 5-3, heading into the single picks. That's going to be High Rise. That's going to be Beanie's pick, playing as Salmon. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. These are some wild, wild individual games so far.
Yeah, and here on High Rise, I mean, we look at the mission loadout. We do have Prince on, Purloin off. Purloin and Prince have kind of been trading blows here on High Rise, but I think the way both of these players have been playing, trying to sneak a Purloin pass against snipers that have been this attentive for so long in this match is going to be really hard to do. Prince, the soft tells look much more in line with what these players were showing on Pub, and I wouldn't be surprised if these characters lean really hard into the Prince and just go completely statueless.
I think that's a great observation. We're seeing Purloin more and more on High Rise instead of fingerprints, and I think that's a good decision against most players, but I think you're right that in this particular match, it's better to go the other way. We're going to end up not quite next to our seduction target. The suspected double agent queen is between us, and even with the green, another green from Beanie, it's going to be just 45%. So, like that first Ballroom game, these greens might go to waste, but better than nothing. We'll take it. Speaking
Yeah,
of
the
taking
green.
it, we have a book with us too, and I gotta imagine that's gonna go right back on where it came from because transfer the microfilm is turned off as it often is on high rise.
Well, I'm still waiting for someone to go for the swag card transfer off on high rise, but the green right here is going to be really significant for Beanie, as we may be looking for prints and we may be looking for difficult ones to try to sneak them past KumaKid. Here on high rise, print is very viable. We have 2 minutes 20 left to find them. If you get them to be difficult, especially on maybe the drink tray or maybe on a statue, then you can potentially avoid suspicion for prints entirely, which might be the only way to win this game on the spy side.
And that's actually one of the ways you leverage that AT rate. Obviously, there are a lot of games where the difference between a 2 flirt and a 3 flirt is not significant. You have to leverage your AT rate somehow. One of the ways you can leverage it is with difficult prints. This is going to be a, well, easy print, for lack of a better word. Unsmudged, at least. No AT required. Beanie's just going to return this briefcase. Not going to bug. We've passed by the Ambassador twice now without bugging, and again, showing a lot of confidence in KumaKid to know we haven't. And that makes sense because KumaKid has been guarding bug and knows what a bug looks like. We're next to our selection target here. This is going to be that second flirt I mentioned out of 3, but it is going to be at least 3. We're being offered a drink. We're going to take an innocent drink. I don't think there's any print on it, but you got to imagine we're going to try to finish that mission with it left on and one mission and one fingerprint already done. That's another green test. Wow, Beanie's just absolutely nailing these. 96% though, that's a little unfortunate. Going to need 4% more. Any flirt will do. We have a little under a minute and a half left though. But you can already see how we want to finish. The Ambassador's just taking a drink, and now we wish we didn't have one because we're going to have to chug this as soon as possible. No, it's just a sip. It's not a gulp. This print might be about to get smudged. It is smudged by the double agent, but maybe that's what we wanted. Question is, though, are we going to actually even try to go for it? Toby's redirected after the suspected double agent, who he's about to offer to, moves. We are actually not trying to get rid of this drink. It looks like we've made up our mind to get prints some other way.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting decision there. We are going to go for the gulp here. We could go for the request. That difficult print, I think, is still there.
We just did it. There it is. Redirect from Toby, too. We waited a very long time. This cannot be suspected. It's a difficult, and it's been bouncing around forever. Beanie leans into the risk, takes the drink. Here's the AT, probably for the win. Any second now. It's another green. Fingerprints done. Seduce 4% away. It's done, too. And now we can go contact for the win with 28 seconds later. But the double agent, if they leave, our plans could fall apart. We enter the conversation at 25 seconds. We've got to take this, and I think we're going to get away with it when we do. Beanie could secure a point right here with the contact. We do contact. It's another green. What else? Green arrow, green test, and Beanie. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nothing you can do about that. Beanie bets it all on that difficult fingerprint, hanging out there as long as it did, and hits another green for the win. How do you beat that?
Yeah, we just start calling him Greeny here, and it's such a risk. If you're staying in that back conversation, you're looking at that fingerprint AT slider go across the bottom of your screen, you're saying, if I don't hit this, I don't really have a path or plan to victory. And then once you hit it, you have to still go and find that double agent, take that contact. Entering that conversation, going for the contact can't have felt great there for Beanie, but no suspicion there for the second print. And even taking the briefcase there, having one print partially done, if that second print's not suspected, having a mission partially done makes it isn't that less suspicious. It maybe makes us a little bit safer for all those bug pads we took. But in the end, KumaKid not able to shoot for the difficult print, and Beanie comes away with the spy win.
Just absolutely flexing on these green ATs, and that's the way you take advantage of it. 2 flirts instead of 3 flirts, not that useful unless maybe you rush on the back of them, something like that. It works for purloins, and it works for difficults, and it works on balcony, but this is how you leverage the AT rate. And again, KumaKid has a pretty high AT rate themselves, so they're not used to playing players who hit more greens than them because there aren't that many players who do. Certainly not at this level. Wow, what a game from Beanie. Has played absolutely fantastic since those first 2 games. Has now won 6 out of 7 and secured at least a draw against KumaKid here. Playing as Queen now, KumaKid is on high rise in 3, 2, 1, playing it, and it's the exact same mission setup as you quasi-predicted. Purloin off, fingerprint on the other 2, microfilm and swap, pretty standard. We have taken control of the spy, and we've bumped against the Ambassador, and we have not bugged them. That's a little different from KumaKid, who did rush the bug earlier on Ballroom and has just shown a lot of aggression in general. But this is high rise. That might not be prudent.
Yeah, the positioning of our selection target outside is really not what we wanted. You can chase your selection target out to that front window pad. It doesn't look so bad, but that side window pad is so small. If we run over there, try to pick up that first flirt, it's so easy to get paired like that. Instead, we're going to play it a little cool. Just go to this briefcase, this bookcase here. Plenty of time on high rise. I think not getting that first flirt, not going to be a big deal for us, especially as you mentioned, these players hitting as many greens as they do. And again, we've taken an early book. And I think both these players may be looking at early books just a way of lowering a little bit of suspicion on them, making them look a little more AI-like here at the beginning of the game. But I can't imagine it's going to be that credited.
No, it's not going to be that credited, I don't think. KumaKid figures this has worked twice, but here's the thing. The more often they're low-lighting you and seeing it in the replays, the less likely it is to happen again after that, especially on high-rise, because on high-rise, there's way more room to maneuver, way more room to idle. It's part of the game plan. There's less cost to it. So if we're trying to idle around to try to get a third low light from Beanie, I don't think it's a good game plan, frankly. Anyway, we don't even have a seduce in yet. White dress might be approaching, might be joining. No, going to the windows instead. There's 2 minutes left on the clock, and we have nothing other than a book that is stopping our hands from doing better things. We're going to go to this window. Seduction target leaves. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Yeah.
At this point, we might have to think about other ways to finish.
Yeah, I agree. At 2 minutes here with absolutely zero mission progress, at this point, you have to be looking around thinking, okay, who's the best frame target here? Who has inspects done? Who maybe even has a print or two that I can get in for real contact? And speaking of real contact, the conversations are full. I would not mind a right click here to let off a contact. Sure, we don't have real here, but other than that, it's looking very nice. But no, KumaKid not interested. Just going to path around these conversations for a bit.
I kind of think that might have been a crash bug, and it absolutely got thought better of as the ambassador left. I'm not sure, but that's what it looked like to me, at least. It looks like we decided to maybe try to bug as the ambassador left, and they didn't go where we expected. Double Agent has joined this conversation afterwards, though, and it's going to be a white test. Beanie says, "What's that? Is that allowed? You talk during banana bread, huh?" Anyway, KumaKid's got the contact done. Little over a minute left. We still have this book, by the way. We still have this freaking book, but we don't have any flirts in. The contact is done. We can't bug on this side that the ambassadors just joined us on our left side because there's a book in the way, but we can bug on the way out. We're going to try to. It's an awkward path. The arm swings around. Let's see what Beanie thinks. Does Beanie suspect it? They're not reacting. This book's going to go back in, and now we might have gotten away with the bug, and the contact is done with 50 seconds left, and no flirts. Can we aggressively flirt on high rise for the win? There's no other way. We can't even rush a purloin. We'd have to go to center statues or find two fingerprints real quick. Seduction target leaves. I think we were going to give our chance to two flirt, but I just don't think that was going to work. We were going to have to leave and come back and bet on greens both times, and at 51%, those aren't good odds. We're going to have to go to center statues here. We're going to have to nope, we don't have to do anything because Beanie says green dress is finished with inspects, and that's reason enough. I don't know what the plan was going to be there, though. Look at this. KumaKid is still trying to flirt at the end.
Yeah, we were having a really rough time. They're not going to center statues, trying to get that flirt. I don't even know if we can two flirt here at this statue position. And really lucky for us that green dress ends up getting shot there. But that's part of the planning that we set up with those really good contacts there. If you contact here on high rise and you have 3, maybe 4 characters out of conversation, you say, well, it's no big deal. I'm still planning to finish. You take away a huge path to victory by taking a third of the guests and just saying that they're not going to get civ shot.
Wow. Well, that's what happens on high rise sometimes. You could play well, you could play badly, whatever. But sometimes an AI completes missions and they got to get shot. And that's one of the reasons you carry the book around too, is that you hope it gives you a little bit more leverage at the end of the game. It turns out not to matter. Wow, that game was falling apart with the flirt. We almost saw it twice in one set, with the flirt being the thing the game is lost on, which is not something we're used to seeing. Either way, it's going to be 6-4 Beanie now going into the final venue, which is Courtyard. Beanie going to spy first as green dress, hoping they don't get shot again. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. KumaKid now needs to win both Courtyard games to secure a draw.
Yeah, and Beanie's spying on Courtyard for a match win, and this is a position you love to be in as Beanie, because on Courtyard, when you're just trying to pull off one more game and you know you have your sniper game behind you, you can try for all kinds of weird, aggressive plays here, just saying, look, I'm going to throw something at the wall, see if I can get it to stick, and if it does, then I've secured the match, and if not, well, then I have my sniper side still ahead of me. But it gives you a lot more flexibility and just a little more psychological space here to try to play.
Yeah, KumaKid has lost just twice this season. To Hunu, barely 7-5, and then to Turnip Boy, again, barely 7-5. So they've won or been in every single game, and now could get their third loss against Beanie. Again, no slouch. That AT rate has really paid off today, but still, this would be a bit of an upset. Stop me if you've heard this one. Beanie has a flirt, and it's 51%. It's another green test.
I have heard that one before, but I'm not going to stop you because I hope they continue. And we're here in conversation. We still need to find a lot more missions progress here, down to 2 minutes. And we're thinking, how can we leverage that AT rate? If you can hit a green purloin on a good chain on Courtyard, that's extremely, extremely powerful. But the white purloin is so dangerous, and it's so easy to see the fade here on Courtyard, no matter what position Toby is in. It's a high risk, high reward strategy, but that might be just the thing for this situation.
Look at that. I think you're absolutely right, by the way. At this point in this kind of game as Beanie, you just want to do something aggressive as Spy. We did two flirt, by the way, and the double agent joined our conversation right afterwards. Let's throw a green BB in there for good measure. Seduction target leaves, and that's fine with us because we're done there again with the minimum number of flirts. Again, we're going to head into this the statue, rather. Finish this drink and pick up the statue. It's going to be what I like to call 2. I don't know if you call them by numbers or something else.
Yeah, 2 sounds good to me. And speaking of 2, we're likely going to pick up 2 inspects here. Laser did notice at statues, but no highlight coming off yet. KumaKid may be holding the highlight until we've been in statues long enough to hit both inspects. And again, just showing that discipline, saying, you know what, I'm not going to take any unnecessary risks.
Yeah, absolutely right. Why not? If they one cycle, you can technically complete them in one cycle sometimes with some characters, but why not wait? Why not force them to do it? It's just really, really good sniping from KumaKid in this case. We have 2 missions done, 1 minute left. And, oh boy, we are really close to the Ambassador, and no proximity meter going off. We can sit here indefinitely. I think we are close enough to bug, but not close enough to chase them away, and that's an enviable position to be in because KumaKid has to just sit there and guard that bug. We're offered a drink. I don't think we requested it. It is going to be a Purloin. It's going to be another green test. Of course it is. That will be our 3rd mission whenever it goes off. It's offered to the Ambassador right afterwards, though, and they're going to take it. A cast member, the Ambassador, is going to take it. It's going to be a quick green fade, and that's going to get Beanie shot. 4 green tests there. I think it was the B. No, we didn't BB, actually. We still had the BB, but 2 on the flirt, 1 of the inspects, if I recall, and the Purloin, too, and still shot dead.
Yeah, we do hit a white on one of the inspects, but an inspect's white is not really going to be much of a big deal in there. And just bad luck, the Ambassador immediately taking that drink right after we purloin it, but I think that was a very well set up game with a chance for victory.
Yeah, I think so. Either way, Beanie didn't really care about that game. This is the game they care about. Sniping on Courtyard for the outright win. Now up 6-5 instead. Again, they were down 2-0. Then won 4 in a row. Won 6 out of 7 to get that point. Trying to bring the whole win home as Buns on Courtyard in 3, 2, 1 playing it. KumaKid now spying for a draw. Not a position they are used to being in. Having a heck of a season in silver, overshadowed only by the wrecking ball that has been Turnip Boy. Beanie opting for the Toby highlight strategy. What do you do with Toby on Courtyard? Low light, highlight, leave alone?
Toby, neutral light, Damon usually a highlight, just for value. But speaking of value, we're here with our seduction target, and early flirts here on Courtyard. There's just no reason not to take them. The conversation is usually full enough. You can usually get a good positioning, and the timer on Courtyard can be a little merciless as we hit a white flirt here for 30%. We have to make sure we bake that into our game plan because the time ticks down very quickly, especially if we're going for something sneaky like Prince. And we have to make sure we get our flirts done in time.
Highlighting Toby is the only way you're ever going to notice he's even there. I swear to God, I don't know how he got this job. He's 100% somebody's cousin. KumaKid has a flirt in, 30%. It's going to be a white test. And the seduction target, Smallman, has left and entered near the Ambassador on the opposite side of the venue, on the other side of that giant Alan Turing statue, by the way. And you do like seeing Smallman walking around, walking by the Ambassador for you. Here comes the contact. It's going to be a white. That's going to knock out General. 2 characters split right afterwards. 2, one of the twins and Orange Sorry. That might be noticed by Beanie. That's the kind of thing that can put added suspicion onto AIs and either lead to a civ shot or distract the sniper while you're doing your missions. We have not chased our seduction target to the other side of the venue yet. We have finally left now after a decent interval post-contact. We are going to smash in between Seek and Smallman. And let's see how many seconds we wait. With only 30% of that first flirt and a little under 2 minutes left, I think we're not going to wait very long, and that is indeed the case. And this is a green test, 81%. The worst possible flirt is 17, so we can't be too far from them on the last one, but we can afford to be pretty far indeed. 90 seconds left.
Yeah, we still have to go find our inspects, and I'm sure KumaKid's going to be doing that soon. You don't really want to be seeing statues in the last 60 seconds. We're being offered a drink, chance for a purloin here, but we're not going to take it. At this point, if we even notice some of those other guests that you mentioned splitting out of conversation, it's unfortunately a little difficult to try to provoke a civ shot on Courtyard unless you get a lot of help from the party in terms of a late statue visit that you can swap for, or maybe a purloin chain. KumaKid's probably in a position where they have to finish missions here if they want to secure the draw in this match, and knowing that they do, time ticking down a lot, we're under a lot of pressure here to find that 4th mission. I have to imagine if we don't find a bug in the next 30 seconds, it's going to be destined to be a purloin.
You mentioned bug, and that's actually what tends to get the civ shot, I think. It's bug paths. It's the sniper not being sure they've guarded bug effectively enough, and that is Smallman. I was just about to say Smallman. Not only did he pass by the Ambassador earlier, but there he is returning the briefcase, fingerprintable. It's got the highlight, gets the shot. KumaKid salvages a point, sweeping the 2 Courtyard games. It is 6-all, but boy, what a set from both players.
Yeah, sometimes the party is just there for you. We saw it on High Rise, and now we see it on Courtyard.
Yeah, that's a great point. Beanie fell behind 2-0 and gets help from the party, KumaKid this time rather, in 2 significant games at the end. How often do you low light the spy twice and still come away with a point? Not often indeed. I wouldn't recommend it. This was a very entertaining set though from 2 very good players. KumaKid, again, first place in silver, a little out of reach thanks to the player we're just about to talk about here in a second, Turnip Boy. But looking really strong. I think this either locks in second or puts them in a really good position to take it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really strong result for them, and one that will carry hopefully some momentum into the postseason that we're about to enter.